Welcome everyone, and welcome to my first ever live stream. So I am doing a new draft league, and this draft league is a kind of a mini draft. It's going to be only 3 weeks long, and the theme of the draft is that every single Pokemon has to be spring themed. And so what that means is that all flying Pokemon, water Pokemon, grass Pokemon, bug Pokemon, and fairy Pokemon are legal. And then on top of that, there's a couple of select Pokemon that people identified as, you know, spring related. And the idea is that those spring related Pokemon are gonna, kind of somehow relate to spring. One of the examples are Pachirisu, which, as you can see, is neither of the types I mentioned. Um, And so this is the 8 Pokemon I have in my draft. So there's only 8 Pokemon drafted. I have Rotom, Pachirisu, Brambleghast, Mimikyu, Jumpluff, Squawkabilly, and then Rabsca and Masquerain. I'm not bringing Rabsca or Masquerain this week. I'm only going to be bringing the 6 you see in my party, and we can go a little bit over them while we wait for our opponent. One second. And with that, we can kind of see we have Rotom, which is Choice Specs, which is very offensive this week with Discharge, Air Slash, Volt Switch, and Trick. It pairs really well with Pachirisu because you can Discharge, and Pachirisu has Volt Absorb, so it will actually heal up my Pachirisu. Then we have Follow Me to protect the Rotom, and then Super Fang and Nuzzle just for some damage and disruption. After that, we have Brambleghast. The idea of Brambleghast is that my opponent's team is pretty defensive focused, and so we can get some strength zaps off to make it a little bit hard to kill. Other than that, we just have Infiltrator because my opponent does have the ability to set up screens, so we can get some damage through that with Shadow Sneak, Power Whip, and Phantom Force. And then we have the Colbur Berry because they're screen setters, specifically Grimmsnarl, which can do big chunks of damage, and then we Tera Dark in order to take the Dark moves a little better as well. I forgot to mention this Pachirisu is flying to deal with the ground type, and then Rotom is Terra Electric, so I can just get more damage. Next up, we have Mimikyu. Like I said, their team's pretty physical, so Will-O-Wisp seems like it's going to be pretty useful. We just got pretty standard Shadow Fall, Flavor Off as damage, and then Taunt to deal with some of the more annoying Pokemon, namely like the Grimmsnarl. Jumpluff. This one is entirely based on the idea of punishing their ability to be physical because I can set up Cotton Guard, Leech Seed, and whatnot, and that can just do make it pretty much impossible for it to kill. The only concern is for Taunt if they have Taunt on the Grimmsnarl, and so I might probably not going to bring it game one. And then we have Terra Steel, which is going to be hard for them to break through. And then finally we have Squawkabilly with Terra Ground in order to I can pair it next to a Discharge and Rotom, and also gives me some damage into like the rock Pokemon that resist the Brave Bird. But the mana this Choice Scarf Brave Bird, Choice Scarf Final Gambit to get some full pool one hit KOs or just massive chunks of damage, and then Parting Shot if I'm not in a great position and I just want to transfer out and I can lower the damage output. Um, but anyways, so that is my team and that's the idea. It looks like we're going to be starting up pretty soon, so I can probably move over into the Poke Portal, in which I will start to, get ready for this one. So as of now, we shall see. Hopefully my audio is not too bad. My microphone, my headset that I'm normally use is not working, so I had to use a different headset, and so I wouldn't be too surprised if the audio quality is pretty bad. And so And so we can nice and easily just probably shove this into the WDC content in case anyone wants to watch it. And see if anyone wants to join. I don't really expect anyone to join, but it's just mainly because I don't really want to do any recordings in the future, or like any post commentary stuff in the future, because it seems like some amount of effort, and I don't want to put it into, and I'm one video behind anyways. So we'll see. Like I said, this is mainly just a way to see how it goes, but I definitely can tell that my audio quality is going to be really bad. Yeah, like I said, just waiting, seeing if anyone is going to see if whenever they're going to join. In theory, they should be joining pretty soon. But yeah, like I said, I didn't prep too hard for this, and this is definitely a pretty lighthearted thing. So yeah, so we'll definitely see. And yeah. Um, but yeah, I definitely think that I'm hoping Rotom and Pachirisu combo is going to do a lot of work. That's definitely my big thought for this week of kind of way to kind of punish them to just discharge, follow me, Nuzzle strategy. They don't have any ground Pokemon, so they need to tear ground specifically in order to kind of break through that consistently. Yeah. And they have given me a code, I think. Um, um, they're and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we got our code. So yeah, so one of the big differences in the standard draft in this situation is that um, we only have 8 Pokemon, so most of the Pokemon are pretty straightforward to what we're expecting them to see. There's not going to be anything too too surprising since six, only 2 Pokemon on their team aren't going to be brought in this week, and so we have paired up. So yeah, but Miss Mag is my mortal enemy. By mortal enemy, I mean uh, they they're probably they're one of the people that normally helps me play. So it's going to definitely hurt me a little bit in prep because they normally crush me in prep a little bit. Um, yeah, and so we should see what they bring. I'm expecting like Grimmsnarl. I'm expecting. Um, okay, here we go. You have Scizor, Grimmsnarl, Morgrem, um, Sudowoodo, Tinkatuff, and Corviknight. It's more or less what I was expecting. The big question is do I want to identify whether or not, all right, yeah, do I want to kind of just go with something like more of one of my ghost leads to prevent them from faking out, since they do have 3 potential fake out Pokemon, or would I prefer something like the Rotom Pachirisu stuff? I think those are definitely all reasonable possibilities. I think I'm just going to start with the Brambleghast and Mimikyu, prevent them from saying that's fake out, and probably just go with Rotom in the back, and then maybe Squawkabilly in the back as well. And go with no jump up because I don't want them to possibly get like an easy taunt. See if they end up having taunt on the team, and then having Pachirisu also as on the side this game to see what they end up doing. So the big idea is we want to see what type of moves they have, whether they have taunt, whether they have some other things like that. You know, like what are the moves, like which Pokemons have fake out and which ones don't. And this lead definitely is one of the best into a possible fake out. And also, you know, it's not a bad lead into the screens either because, um, yeah, because I have Infiltrator, and so they lead double Prankster Pokemon, and they have Frisk, and they see my items, and so here I think the plan is probably to just go for a Power Whip into. I think maybe we'll just go for double up into this one. I can see an argument for taunting because it looks like they're going to be Prankster on the other one, but I think just going for the kill on Grimmsnarl seems reasonable. This is going to do pretty good chunk damage. They can't fake me out. They get Misty Terrain, which I'm assuming is a way to play around Will-O-Wisp. But that's not too bad because I just decided to go with max damage, and that does a huge chunk of damage, and we get a kill on Grimmsnarl on turn 1, which I will take as a very successful turn 1. So they got Misty Terrain, which means I can't Will-O-Wisp, but other than that, we just kind of had a really good turn 1. And so now they're just bringing a Tinkaton, and I think I'm just going to probably go for what? I go for the Strength Step into the Tinkaton. It's not the worst, and I could Terra Steel. I think Terra Steel seems reasonable. It's going to. I don't think I'm going to tear anything else, and it's going to let me tank this Gigaton Hammer pretty well from them. Actually, with that, if I'm going to Terra Steel, maybe I just go for the double up into the Morgrem. Okay, they also Terra'd, and let's see what they're tearing into. And they're tearing into a Steel type. Okay, so they want to get max damage from this Gigaton Hammer. Makes sense. I don't think this is going to be the worst for me. Obviously, me tearing Stilling means my Battery Berry is not going to be relevant. However, I'm going to take a Gigaton Hammer very well with this Mimikyu. One thing that's funny is I actually was thinking about doing. That this makes sense. This isn't too surprising. This is one of the strategies I was thinking about, own tempo and that. And they went for a Heavy Slam. They're actually pretty fast. That did a lot of damage. And I don't think I'm going to be able to kill the Morgan in one hit this time, so this might be a bad position for me because, Morgan just survives. So I think what we need to do here is probably go for a, get it and Intimidate off into this guy here. I forgot that. That's not going to work. So we're in real bad shape, actually. There's not much we can do. I think we just have the Final Gambit, and that's probably... Actually, I don't know if that kills or not, but I think Final Gambit's really the only way we're going to be able to deal with this. And do I want to just go for the Shadow Claw? I'll do it for the extra damage, yeah. If this Final Gambit doesn't kill, I'm pretty much probably dead here. And we do get the Final Gambit off, which is good. And it kills perfect. that would have been really bad. I didn't know that damage calc on top of my head, so maybe I should have, played around, or I should have gone for the play rough instead. But I wanted to make sure I could kill that thing because that was very concerning for me. But the Shadow Claw kills anyway, so I'm actually think this game is over. That Final Gambit was definitely 100% necessary. That own tempo boost was very scary. I totally forgot about it not being able to intimidate. So here we're in a little bit of an awkward position because but I think we're in a pretty safe position where we can kind of just do this and Shadow Claw, probably be able to get some good chunk of damage. And I don't think they have a way to kind of kill both of those. We get the crit, which I don't think matters too much, because we should get the kill. Like I said, I don't think anything kills either of these Pokemon, especially because Mimikyu obviously still has its disguise. So one thing that's really nice is that they are own tempo instead of Mold Breaker, which means that I wasn't in the worst position, even if I didn't get the kill, because they couldn't have killed my Mimikyu with an attack because I had my disguise intact. But yeah, so here we go. Time for game two. Yeah, I think yeah, they definitely got themselves in a reasonable position, especially with their how fast their Tinkaton was. But yeah, that heavy slam Tinkaton is very annoying for me. I definitely think that went pretty reasonable. We saw Swagger, we saw Misty Terrain, and it looked like a damaging move. So I'm not sure if it's worth bringing Jumpluff. I think it's reasonable to maybe go with the Rotom Pachirisu this time and bring Squawk in the back again. And then do I want Bramble-Ghast or Mimikyu as my last Pokemon, or do I want even Jumpluff? Jumpluff is like defensively can be very powerful into their team. But I'm very concerned about the possibility of taunts. But I don't know. I don't care. Let's try. Let's just bring out the Jumpluff. Let's check it out. I'm curious to try it out, and I kind of want to see what it can do. This is probably a bad decision, but I'm gonna do it. But Squawk with Final Gambit definitely was the MVP there. Like that, I did a lot of damage outside of that, but that Tinkaton was definitely threatening to sweep me if I wasn't able to kill it, and Final Gambit was just a nice clean kill there. I'm curious how they're going to adjust, or if at all. We didn't see any protects yet. I mean, any fake outs yet. Um, Tinkaton looks like more of an offensive threat. They Terra Steel for offensively, and they have Heavy Slam. Let's see what they end up bringing out, and they bringing out that lead again. That's not the worst for me. We know they're Terra Steel, so they can't do anything about it. And I have Follow Me, so that actually prevents them from doing the setup. So I think we just follow me and probably go for a Terra Electric Discharge and just try to get a big chunk of damage into them. Like I said, this completely prevents them from doing their setup strategy because I have the Follow Me support, and on top of this, I can just discharge up. If they have Fake Out for more of these Pokemon, it can be a little bit annoying because I'm not going to be able to do as much as I'd like. But at the very least, I'm able to get Follow Me off. And they just set up Misty Terrain, so I think this is a pretty reasonable turn for me. So with the fact that I definitely think that maybe I could be greedy and not go for the Follow Me, but I'm just going to be safe. Go for the Follow Me. Make sure they don't do any own tempo damage boost shenanigans, and try to just get a good discharge off. They get the light screen up, which is going to mitigate my damage, but I'm pretty happy with this because they just go for Rock Slide, which damage-wise is not going to do too much to me, and I'm able to heal up the damage from Pachirisu with this and get a very strong discharge off. Sadly, I can't paralyze because of the Misty Terrain, but oh my, that does not nearly as much damage as I'd like into this. So I'm going to go for this and double check Super Fang into this one and go for the discharge. Hope to be able to get that off. Sadly, they knocked off my Choice Specs. However, I'm able to get a discharge off. And this should kill. Actually, I don't know if it kills the Morgan. I think it kills the Morgan, but it's not going to kill it. Actually, that doesn't either because I end up. It didn't kill either of them because I lost my Choice Specs there. I think the plan here is probably just to go for the Follow Me again I don't really want to take an extra damage hit from this and just go for the discharge. I Yeah, I think that seems pretty fair to me. I'm expecting that their AV, based on how well their Tinkaton took these discharges, um, as I expected, they went for the Rock Slide. There's not much I can do about this. Sadly, I flinched. Definitely really annoying. The Foul Play is not going to do anything because Pachirisu has so little physical attack. Uh, but here, like I said, I think the same play is just the plan. There's, not much we want to do about this. Like Rotom takes another Rock Slide, and Patrice is going to get completely healed up, basically because of my discharge. And so we just hope they don't flinch me again. Um, and they do not flinch me, and I should get the double knockoff. And so we're up to 2-4 right now. However, I did use my Terra, and my Rotom is at really low HP. And we'll see what's in the back. If it's nothing that has so let's see, Bluebird. I don't know what Bluebird is. This is Corviknight, okay, and then this is gonna be the Scizor. Okay, so it's not too bad. I think I'm pretty fine to just go for a Follow Me and Discharge again. I don't think anything on their side should outspeed me. Yeah, and yeah, and I don't think anything should outspeed me, and so I should just be able to get the discharge off. And the only thing that can like theoretically kill me would the priority would be a Bullet Punch. We'll see if they have a Terra Ground on their Corvire. That's basically the big concern. Not quite as good, but I should get pretty good chunk of damage into. Never mind. Do not get a good chunk of damage into to the Scizor. But I'm assuming they're going to go for a Rock Slide. Actually, I don't know what spread move they have, but it's not the end of the world. But kind of whatever offensive move they have. Maybe they just go for the Tailwind, and they should just go for the Tailwind. So not too bad. I don't know if their Scizor is likely going to have Rock Slide. So that's kind of the big question: is do I want to play around a Scizor or Rock Slide and just kind of go for, and not even go for the Follow Me? And I think it might be worth just going for the Nuzzle into the Scizor spot and just go for an Air Slash. Like I could have Follow Me. Actually, no, Follow Me doesn't. So yeah, that was actually a good play. my decision to just ignore it because Feint has +2 priority and Follow Me is only +1. Okay, cool. They just went for a taunt, so my play ended up being pretty good. It's really funny because they went for a Tailwind and then they ended up going for a priority move. However, with this, they no longer have this. So the taunt is a little bit annoying, so I think we just bring out Squawk. We know they're on Nerve, so I'm going to get the Intimidating to both these Pokemon. And I think the plan here is probably just to go for a Super Fang into this guy, and then go for the Brave Bird as well. That seems pretty reasonable to me. They go for a Bullet Punch. This isn't too. Yeah, they did pretty good damage, honestly. And they're faster than me, but it's not too big of a chunk of damage. Maybe I shouldn't have targeted that one specifically. But we're able to, get a pretty good chunk of damage. I think the plan here should probably be. How many turns of Tailwind are left? So we're just gonna go for the Super Fang into the Scizor now. And they have 1 turn of Tailwind. Perfect. Okay, so we can bring out Squawk. So with Squawk, we're just gonna kind of let it die here, honestly speaking. Hopefully we get the Super Fang off into the Scissor, don't get a chunk damage. They end up killing the Squawk ability, not a big deal. The big idea is that I wanted to, I'm just happy the Tailwind's off. And we should be in pretty good shape just by doing this pretty big chunk of damage. And now their light screen's up, which is not too big of a deal. The Tailwind being gone is pretty nice, because now we have the ability to, we pretty much have a guaranteed win here if, as long as Scissor doesn't do too much damage, because we can just encore the Squawk into Roost. And yeah, just encore the Squawk into Roost, and then we can start setting up with our oh yeah, so we're in pretty good shape. So so we encore this into Roost. Now this is completely done for. It can't do anything relevant. And though we're not doing much damage to Scizor, we now have the ability to start getting some damage into both these Pokemon. And so I think the plan here is just to go for a, yeah, probably just to follow me and a Leech Seed, start getting some chip damage into the Scizor, try to get the kill on it. Once I think there's not much they're going to be able to do about my Jumpluff. Like, yeah, this Bull Punch will do, yeah, so little damage, and we get the Leech Seed up, and now this is just going to slowly kill the Scizor. And we are in great shape. And so similarly, I think the plan here is probably to probably just, I don't know, probably just slowly try to kill the Scizor some more, and then put the Leech Seed onto here. They got the full para, not a big deal. Get the Leech Seed up. And we honestly might be in the position where we're just going to win by making them not have any more Roost PP. But we get the Leech Seed off, and yeah, this game's pretty much over. It's just going to be a little bit long and drawn out, in all honesty, because, you know, I'm doing a lot of really, you know, minimal damage. So we just probably do this and this. Make sure this can't do any damage. They fully para once again, but I'm pretty okay with this. We encore. Make sure they get rid of this Roost PP basically. And, you know, obviously this Super Fang's gonna end up not doing much, but I'm basically just, you know, kind of clicking attacks. I should probably just gone for the kill on the Scizor with, you know, this, but I'm pretty happy with my position. Because yeah, Jumpluff's kind of just immortal at this point. So yeah, so I'm just gonna get the extra damage onto this, and I'm gonna set up my Cotton Guard, get up to +3. And yeah, this game's gonna actually take incredibly long because of their Roost being really annoying. But with that, they just give up. I understand completely. The game was 100% over. It was just gonna take a really long time. I was gonna actually have to. I was gonna actually have to win by making them run out of PP with Roost, and then once they ran out of PP with Roost, then I was just gonna kill them with Super Fang and Leech Seed, because I was gonna get up to +6 defense, and then basically be able to start Super Fanging Leech Seed stuff, and this game was gonna be pretty much a guaranteed wrap, especially with the ability to follow me once they ran out of the PP. And so with that, we are able to win our first week. So this So how this goes is there's 3 weeks. It's kind of a round robin tournament, not a round robin. So it's kind of like a single elimination tournament, where or kind of sort of it's you match against people who have the same record as you, and then there's 8 people total. So if you win round one, I'm going to play against someone who's 1-0, and then if I win round two, I'm going to play against somebody who's 2-0. But with that, that was really fun. I hope anyone who watches this will enjoy, and I'll see you all next time.